217 Recovery Podcast. That's what's up. How are you doing tonight? My name is Corey Winfield, flying solo for the moment. Ryan is funny because he had to go up north to the UP, and he calls it going to Michigan. I don't know. It's very confusing to me. I'm like, you're in Michigan, man. But, yeah, I couldn't get a hold of Rob either, so I don't know. Maybe he'll surprise us and join the podcast. But, you know, right now I'm just flying solo, which cool with me. Hopefully it's cool with you. Hopefully you had a great day. If you didn't, maybe you had a bad day. Well, tomorrow could be worse. Nah, I mean, tomorrow could be better too. You don't know. You're listening to the podcast, so that's a good thing, right? Yeah. Yesterday, I got my 6-month chip. If you like us on Facebook, you probably saw a picture of it. Kind of was today was my 180 days since I last used it. It would be December 15th, 2018. And that's my sober day. And I kind of count it because yesterday, even though I got a chip, 6 months ago, I was handcuffed to a hospital bed. And what I do with my chips or coins, whatever you call them, from AA now is I mail them to family members. And I don't know if you watch Survivor, but you know how it gets down to the end and they go and they used to anyway. It's been a minute since I watched it. They would go and take all the torches and they would kind of look and remember the people. Well, I kind of do the same thing, and it's my way of making amends and forgiving myself of some of the things I've done. That's why my mom's gotten so many of them. A lot to forgive, but it's forgiving myself. I don't write a letter or anything like that. I just put the coin in there and I mail them off. It's for me. That's what's for me, you know, keeping the chip, keeping the coin. Got most of them before. I don't think I've ever gotten a 6-month one before. So it's kind of a big deal. Yeah, so thank you. And it was kind of sad. Like, I got out of a meeting. Ryan and I went to Petoskey, did a meeting there, and they got me another 6-month chip. And we get out, and I check my phone, and I got a message, and I first read it, the first part of it, and I just think, wow, okay, that's cool. And it's from a guy back home, and apparently I'd missed a message from him back in 2018. I don't know what rehab I was in then. I'm sure I was in something, but he was like, "Hey, is this Corey, the DJ, you know, famous guy, whatever, from WIRX?" And I didn't answer him. Like I said, I don't know where I was and what was going on. And then the next message was, you know, thanks 217. I don't have my phone in front of me, otherwise I read it word for word, but it just said thanks for doing what you're doing and, you know, giving people hope that aren't 6 months and that are still in the struggle. And then he said that he lost one of his friends to an overdose, like yesterday, or it was very recently, maybe today it could have been, in Benton Heights, which is just outside of Benton Harbor. And it was just like, I started thinking, you know, like, addiction's addiction, and it is a disease. And if you are struggling with something, you don't have to go out like that. And he expressed his anger in the message, and you know, I just, you know, I really didn't know what to say at first, but then it was, you know, like, I thanked him for, you know, the kind words, and I just suggested he not do something that, you know, he's going to regret, because you don't want to do that either. And, you know, say you go out and you take out your anger, which is, it's fear, it's hurt. That's what you're really feeling. That's what anger is. Anger is a secondary emotion, and you're going to do something you regret, you know, whether you think it's right. I understand. I really do. I've been at that place too, where I just wanted to just take somebody fishing on Lake Michigan, you know, Like, I don't know, man. They fell off the boat. I was drinking, passed out, woke up, and he was gone. You know, but at the end of the day, it's not going to bring him back. It's not going to make anything better. You know, if anything, you're going to have to live with that, and then that might cause another problem with, you know, maybe addiction or just, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't live with it. I mean, at the moment, at the time, when you're that angry and fired up and sad and hurt, that's the only thing that you want is revenge. But you get your revenge, you're just going to, there's another one that's just going to take his place, you know, or take her place. You know, I'm talking about the people that are dealing the drugs, and some people deal the drugs just to get theirs for free. Some people just do it because they want to make money, and it's easy money to them, and they don't care if it hurts people or if it kills people or if it tears people's families apart. They don't care. They don't care about you. When you go over there, they care about you because they want you to pay for their car. They want you to pay for their house. They want you to buy them a new TV. That's exactly what you're doing. And sometimes you get into that point. Maybe you're there right now. Maybe you know someone who is, where you're at your rock bottom, or at least you think you're getting close, where you're selling your TV, you know, just to support them. But you're not doing it like that. If I were to ask you, hey, you want to go buy that guy a TV? You're going to be like, no. But essentially that is what you are doing. And it's different when you look at it that way. But when you look at it like, well, I'm sick and I don't want to feel this way anymore, that's all I know how to do. If I go to the hospital, people are going to judge me. If I go to because you can go to the Michigan State Police Post. I know there's one, in Bridgman, down there. It's kind of where I'm talking to tonight just because of the message I got on Facebook. But you can go to any Michigan State Police Post. It's called the Angel Program, and you can just say, hey, look, I need help. You know, it might hurt for a few days, but they'll get you with a doctor. They'll put you in a detox center, and not all of them are bad. I've been to some myself in Grand Rapids, and it's horrible. There are some that are comfortable, that are nice, and that is the first place where you need to start. You don't. I mean, it's just aren't you tired? And if I'm not talking to you, you know, maybe you're like, oh, I remember being there. I remember being that tired. You know, maybe you can give some words of wisdom to somebody else. You know, if you know somebody who is struggling or in active addiction, you don't need to belittle them. You know, you don't need to accuse them. You don't need to bring them down to, you know, the bottom level, but you need to be honest with them and be sincere with them. I have a family member who is a few years older than me, let's just say. And for her to finally come out and say, hey, you know, I have a problem with alcohol, it takes a lot. And I was told about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, well, everybody knew. But for her to admit that, that's a huge step. That's a huge first step. Now finding the right way to go about not drinking anymore is the next battle. And it's more than just not drinking anymore, though. And that's something that is really hard to understand. It took me a couple of years to even get that far. You know, I just thought, okay, no drinking, I'm good. And, you know, like I said, it took me a couple of years. You know, it took me 15 programs that I went through in 4 years. And it wasn't like I wasn't listening. It just, I don't know what it took for it to finally all kind of sink in and for me to grasp it. I guess I was still in the back of my mind, maybe holding on to that thought that, well, maybe one day I can drink again. You know, maybe one day I can go out and cut the grass and have a beer. And that doesn't even sound appealing to me. It just sounds like more pain. And I don't want any more pain. Not in my life. I've had enough, and I've caused enough. Pretty sure I hurt a good friend of mine's feelings pretty bad today, and I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to send this message, but this is something that's new for me too, trying to build healthy relationships, you know, with friends and people that, you know, I want in my inner circle. I got my 6-month chip, you know, and they say, you know, don't get into a relationship for a year, but we're in relationships already, you know, like my mom, I have a relationship with her, my sister, I'm in relationships, but it it's work for me. And as I was told, I'm not a recovery guru, and I don't claim to be. I'm just kind of sharing my story and my path, and that's all I can do. But yeah, I'm no expert. That's for sure. Radio broadcasting, I can teach you a few things, but as far as recovery goes, I'm just sharing my experience, and hopefully I can inspire people and give you hope. That it's going to be okay, and it can be okay, and nobody's judging you. We're a great community. The recovery community is awesome. Up here in Upper Michigan, or lower Michigan, whatever they call it. People from down south, up north, not the UP, but up north. I mean, you still get some people looking at you, but there's a lot of people here that help, and there's a lot of people here that inspire me. And, so many people told me, oh, you can't do a recovery podcast. And that was a big fear of mine, because who am I? I'm not the recovery guru, as I was told today, but I still love to do this, and I don't want to go back into radio. So this is like a way that I can give back, and it helps me. It keeps me sober. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for you and for me. And when Joyce told me that, you're going to have haters, because that was a question I had of her. Start a podcast, she said. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can probably do that. But what about if people come at me and they say you don't have enough clean time? Who are you? And she's like, well, they're just not doing enough with their recovery. And sure thing, as soon as I started, the podcast, people started coming at me with that, and they're like, oh, well, they wouldn't say it to my face, but they'd be around the corner, like, oh yeah, well, who does he think he is? And, he didn't even say that right, and he should have said this and should have said that. Like I said, I'm not the recovery guru. I have no idea. I am a radio broadcaster, though. That's what I know how to do. So, just take it for what it is. But Matt just stepped in. So, Matt, you want to be on the podcast tonight, man? All right. Because I know, was it last week you were like, hey, man, I want to be on the podcast. So what you been up to? You're doing big things, brother.
Yeah,
how that goes.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Well, let's welcome you to the show with a little applause, please. Some applause. There we go. All right, Matt. Let's see what Matt's been up to.
Thank you. No, I mean, I'm doing good, and I'm not doing good. It's a daily battle, battlefield of the mind. I'm just dealing with a lot of inner demons, things that I've been dealing with for, well, pretty much ever since I got sober, are resurfacing, but just insecurities, self-doubt. It's just like I'm butting my head against a wall. I've hit another wall. And just a lot of resentment lately, and but I'm learning, though. I'm learning that my resentment it comes from myself. When I'm resenting somebody else, it's usually because they're pointing something out that is true about myself, and I can either have resentment and treat that person differently and make them an enemy. Because they're forcing me to look at something that has to do with me, or I can take a look into what they are pointing out, and I'm just scared, and I just want to be normal, and I'm struggling, and I feel like I have a brain disorder, but they keep telling me it's normal at meetings, people, feel the same way, think the same way, which is comforting, because like I said, it's scary. I can't put thoughts together, words together, yeah, but I'm fighting. Every day I'm fighting. 6 months sober, which is great. And, I just need to learn to live more in my victory. and successes.